Hello internet, so today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different than I usually do, and it's actually going to be a braid tutorial. I did a lot of braids when I was in high school, and kind of ever since I've just always been kind of good at braids, I guess, and sometimes I get people asking me how I do certain things and how it's possible for me to do it in my own hair, because it can be a lot harder in your own hair than other people's. So yeah, basically today I'm going to try and do a video that explains some basic braids which I use quite often, and yeah, I hope it's helpful and that it makes sense. So the first thing you got to do is brush your hair. Make sure there's no knots, because it can be a pain when you start braiding and get to a knot. The next thing you've got to decide is whether you want an innie or an outie. So the first one is an outie. For an outie braid, you are going underneath your hair. So just like a normal plait, you get it in 3 parts. You can see there I'm just grabbing bits as I go. So there we go, grabbing some from the top, going underneath that bit like a plait. Then that bit grabs some from the front. That bit grabs some from the top, lift that underneath. The bit on the top will grab some from the front. The bit at the back will grab some from the back, and it just goes like a plait. So you can either stop it about there and pin it, depending on how long your hair is. I like to kind of leave a bit of my hair out, as you can see there to the side, and plait the rest down the back of my hair, and then just leave it all out so there's sort of like a bit up and a bit down. That's just because I have really thick, long and heavy hair, so when I do plait it down, it kind of just evens out the weight a little bit and makes it feel a lot lighter, and it looks a bit nice. You can also then pull bits out if you like to make it a bit messier or thicker. Your second choice is an innie. For this braid, instead of going underneath each other, we'll be going over and on top. It's the same sort of thing, on top. The back bit grabs some from the back of your hair. The front bit grabs some from the front of your hair. So just remember, if you want it to have the innie look rather than the sticky outie look, then you have to go above the hair, not underneath it. Again, once you get to about here, you can either pin it and just leave it all out, except for the front bit, or like I do, continue to plait that bit. And again, you can move it about, pull bits out, make it a bit messier. It's completely up to you. This next one's good if you have a fringe, or even if you don't but you want a little bit of a fringe or something that looks like it. And we're just gonna start off with a sort of braid as we would, and then instead of taking bits from the bottom, you only braid in bits from the top. So it's just a normal outie braid, but you're grabbing bits from the top of your hair only, not the bottom. So see how it kind of sits on the front, and you can make that as loose as you want, as far down as you want. And again, either pin it and leave a bit of your hair out, or continue the plait the whole way and then wrap it around your head, put it into a bun, whatever you like. This next braid used to be one of my favourites. It's called a waterfall braid, and it basically starts out as your usual innie braid. So again, over the top you're going to give that kind of a swirly, twirling look. And then when you get to the part where you would usually pin it or keep plaiting, what you do is you drop the bottom bit of the plait. So your bit of plait at the bottom, you can get someone to hold it, would be ideal, but considering no one loves me and I don't have anyone, I just use my mouth for it. You then take some from the rest of your hair at the bottom to kind of replace what you've taken out. Hope that makes sense. You can sort of see it. So as I grab it, I drop that bit, put it in my mouth, then take another bit from underneath and replace that into the new plait. And then again, it's easier to just continue the plait down your back, tighten it all up, and you can sort of pull the waterfally bits to tighten up where you've braided like this. And it sits really nicely. Kind of just looks like the braid's going around your hair, which it is. And lastly, this braid is what I call the crown braid. So you're going to make 2 low ponytails very loosely at the nape of your neck on either side, obviously. You only want to do them about 3 times. You do want it to be tight, but you want the bands to be loose so they're easy to come off, if that makes sense. Then what you're going to do is plait them very tightly, and then when you get to the bottom, you're going to pull the band from the top of your hair down to the bottom. Obviously, ideally, it would be good to have those little elastic bands meant for braids, but if you don't have those, then normal hair ties will obviously do. So you're going to take your hair, as I did there, and try and neatly fold it over, pull off the band again, pull it over your head like a kind of crown or headband, and just pin it in. As I've said, my hair is very heavy, so it requires a lot of bobby pins to keep it in place, especially when it's on top of my head. And then you do the same with the other one, making sure your hair kind of nicely sticks in. Twisting it helps. Then you're going to place that plait on top of the bobby pins and tuck the end of this one under the first plait. So you can't see any pins, you can't see any hair sticking out or any loose ends as such. And then it's just a matter of bobby pinning where you need to, fixing up where you need to, making it higher or lower where you want it. This is probably one of the messier ones I've done. It's not perfect, but like I said, you can fix it however you want, and obviously some of you will have a lot thinner hair than me, so it may work out better. So that's some of my favourite braids that I use the most. If you enjoyed this kind of video, then give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if you want to know any more kind of style of braids or wanted to see me try any specific ones. And thanks for watching. Bye!